Hello and welcome back to Bits and Bobs. Today's video is the complete guide to the Gold Angel, a hammered gold coin. This video will explain all about it, from the history to the denomination to the design. So here is the design. Here's a look at one to begin with, and we'll notice there to the left, the reverse, we can see an angel, hence the name Gold Angel. All of these angels depict the Archangel Saint Michael, as we can see there, slaying a dragon. So similar sort of in a way to the sovereign, with a dragon being slayed. But this time the dragon's being slayed by an angel, hence the name Angel, and we have to see to the other side on all these coins you'll notice there will be a ship. Now the angel coin was introduced in 1465 by King Edward IV. That was the first year its issue, and it was valued, its face value was 80 pence, 6 shillings and 8 pence, or 1/3 of a pound. So here is the Edward III noble, the coin it sort of replaced or was sort of mirroring, because the angel had the same face value as a noble, but was lighter and smaller. So essentially, it's just a bit of a smaller coin carrying on from the noble. You can see there, as you can see, 7 grams down to 5 grams, 32 millimeters down to 29 millimeters. So a smaller coin, but still the 1/3 of a pound face value. And here we have one of the very first issues ever of the Gold Angel. And the design here, as we'll see, is very similar throughout the whole minting eras of these coins, with, like I say, the angel slaying the dragon to one side, then the ship to one side with the sea below, the shield in it with a cross, and the letters to the side. Looking here in the book, we can see the other gold coins of King Edward IV, and if we zoom in, we can also see below the angel there is another denomination, the half angel. So the half angel, I'm sure you've already guessed what this coin is, but it is very simply the counterpart to the angel, and was introduced in 1472, so 7 years later, and it was, of course, worth half of the face value of the angel. And the only way to tell them apart was really by the size. As we can see here, a half angel of Edward IV, bearing pretty much the exact same design, but of course being smaller, half the size and weight, as it was half the value. Now next up is Edward V, but he only reigned for 78 days. However, a few angel coins were made during this time. They are exceedingly rare. It's got most of them in museums, that kind of level of rarity. But we can see it is essentially the same coin. Nothing else was changed, nothing to the value, the weight, or so on. Simply the same design, but rather Edward V than Edward IV for that coin. Next we come on to King Richard III, and we can see here he only issued angels and half angels, no other gold coins of Richard III. So as we can see, the angel had quickly become a popular denomination in medieval England, and that long-running design, once again here you will notice, of course, I won't go into it in extreme detail, but there are, of course, rough changes. It's all done by hand, so the design isn't just sort of cut and paste, but it is the same sort of thing. The weight, though, was reduced to 5.13 grams, and the diameter down to 26 millimeters, so the coin did slightly shrink during this time. The reverse legends of these angels are quite unique. We can see here it says obviously in Latin, but the translation of the reverse legend is, "By thy cross save us, O Christ our Redeemer." So a bit of a sort of, you don't see those legends too much. Also, interestingly, medieval gold coinage is unorthodox, as it is not always featuring the monarch's portrait. All the silver coins did, some gold coins did, but the angels never have the monarch's portrait. Demonstrated again here, as we can see the Richard III half angel. Again, just smaller, the same design. Then we come on to King Henry VII. We can see there are, in fact, 4 gold coins. He issued the £1 coin, the sovereign. There was a real, which is half a pound. Then the angel and half angel being that 6 shillings and 8 pence, and 3 shillings and 4 pence, so a third or a sixth of a pound, as part of the Henry VII gold coinage. And here we have a lovely example of a Henry VII angel. Of course, as we see, the design, nothing very dissimilar. I would say more detail now, as of course technology moves on. The angel has more detail. Of course, this coin, the actual coin, is a higher grade one, so you can see the design looking very nice. The weight slips down further to 5.1 grams, and the diameter to 27 millimeters, so a little bit larger diameter, but lower weight. As we can see here, the legend is the same to the reverse, so all things very similar, just really a change of monarchs, sort of writing on the side who the monarch is. Speaking of change of monarch, next up is Henry VIII, who issued loads of gold coins. Look at this. Sovereigns, angels, George nobles, crowns, all kinds of things, lots of gold coinage. Now, there was also a change to the face value, so here's the key part. Under King Henry VIII, the angel in 1509 was revalued to 90p which is 7 shillings and 6 pence, and then in 1544 increased in value again to 8 shillings or 96 pence. So it's now worth more face value wise than the medieval versions. We can see here the design though is unchanged. So, and there's the half angel, the same sort of thing. We can see a big mint mark to this one. It's a whole portcullis crowned, but the rough design themes are very similar. And we do have the quarter noble now as well. So during when the coin was 8 shillings, a half angel 4 shillings, and a quarter angel 2 shillings. As it says here, the weight was relatively unchanged, quarter angel was introduced, and sort of the first decimal coin, if you will, because the quarter angel was technically a florin. So lots of changes under Henry VIII. Now on to King Edward VI, who has a bit less gold coins, or rather some less gold coins, but still many different denominations of gold coinage minted under his reign. But we can see that the angel and half angel minted, no more quarter angels, and under Edward VI, the angel was revalued again to 120 pence or 10 shillings, so half of a pound. So half of a pound is an angel, quarter of a pound was a half angel. Here we can see an Edward VI angel, and again the design very much the same, a big shield in the ship with the cross, and an angel slaying a dragon to the other side. And it is worth noting for all of these coins how valuable they are. Just look there at the prices of some of these angels of Edward VI. Crazy amounts of money. They are all quite rare coins today. And the weight was further reduced to 4.96 grams, just ever so slightly, losing a little bit of weight successively. Now we move on to Queen Mary. 4 gold coins, a bit more manageable to understand. We have the sovereign, real, angel, and half angel. The angel stays at 10 shillings under Mary. Simply the same thing, half a pound is the angel. Here we have one, same design, same weight, same face value, all things carried over under Mary. So quite an easy one to understand, although the design is a bit more changed. The ship to me looks like a rocking, or like a seesaw rather. A bit of design has been lost on that. And as you see, there is no quarter angel, just the angel and half angel. We do not see the return of the quarter angel under Queen Mary. So who's after Mary? Well, it's a bit complicated because it is then Philip and Mary, a bit of a joint reign. And under the joint reign of Philip and Mary, we only have angels and half angels. And I'm sure you've predicted this by now, but it's the same design. So that ship and that angel, of course, if you do find a hammered gold coin, that would be great. But they're very easy to identify as an angel. Just look for the angel. And of course, dating it to the period, you'll know the face value as the increases that I've shown. Now on to Elizabeth I. A long reign, lots of coins, lots of gold coins. We have sovereigns, reals, angels, and so on. Notice we have angel, half angel, and the return of the quarter angel. So here we have an Elizabeth I angel. And then again, I don't really need to explain the design to you, I'm sure, as we have all gathered by now the design. Here is the half angel. Very nice. Look to the sort of right side of the left portrait. There we can see the word Elizabeth. That's the only main change to that side. As well as the legend has changed now to another sort of a bit of a unique one. This is the Lord's doing, and it is marvellous. Quite a unique legend there, not the sort of standard legend you would expect on a slightly more modern coins in that translated from the Latin. And here we have, as I say, the return of the quarter noble. Bit of the design lost as it is a smaller coin and is kind of technically an early half crown because it would have been a quarter of 10, which is 2.5 shillings, which is what a half crown is. And the weight of the full angel is just over 5 grams, so it's sort of fluctuating around the 5 gram mark for the full angel at this period. And there we see again all the denominations and the values of the gold coins of Elizabeth. Then on to James I. And we can see there, again, a very full gold coinage, if you will. Lots of different denominations minted in gold under James I, including the angel and the half angel. You'll note, though, there's the little brackets there saying pierced and unpierced. What does this mean? Well, the vast majority of James I angels you'll find are pierced. So the design is the same, the coin we all recognise by now. There's the word Jacobus there, Latin for James. But there is a big hole in the coin. This isn't just one or two that have been holed. These were actually pierced for healing. There's lots of gold coins in circulation, so they weren't needed. They were using other gold coins to spend, and these ones were pierced to sort of rub ceremonially to try and heal, as it was the belief back then it was a touching piece to make you heal. And they did weigh 4.5 grams, so again, more gold lost on these coins. The James I angel face value went up again, so from 1603 to 1612 it was still the 10 shillings. Then from 1612 onwards, went up to 11 shillings. So a half angel being 5.5 shillings. On to Charles I. Here we have the Charles I gold coinage with a unites, crowns, and angels. No half angels, purely the angels. The weight was a solid 5 grams, so again, fluctuating as it has been for the last while. The face value was back to 10 shillings, so went down the face value. And the design, see we've got ... there. The design did sort of actually change a bit notably here. Again, they are all pretty much hold as touch pieces, but look at this. Although it is the similar design, we have an angel slaying a dragon to one side, a very much different style of angel, and the vessel, the ship, is very, very different actually to the other side. We can see there a breakaway from that medieval design that's been carried over. So there we have it, the gold angel, minted between 1465 and 1642, over 177 years and 11 monarchs. Comment down below if you have one. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time on Bits and Bobs.